Hi, I'm Jenna,
And I'm Erin.
and welcome to Between Two Filing Cabinets, where we give you tips, trends, troubles, and stories from HR. And this week we have Thanksgiving coming up, and so we thought it might be important to talk about giving recognition in the workplace, being thankful, and those sorts of things are going to be on employees' minds. So it might be a good topic to explore.
Absolutely. And, a couple statistics to look at, kind of ground ourselves. Apparently, we know it's important. 69% of people work harder when they feel like they have been recognized. And 54% have quit jobs when they don't feel recognized. But we're not doing so hot on the recognition front. And the statistic, I think, was really kind of made my eyes pop and made me kind of sad when I heard it, that 65% of people said they received no recognition within the past year.
Wow, that's amazing. No recognition. So, I guess you're talking maybe, what about thank you?
Yeah, I'm really hopeful that there are still elements of the polite that work its way into the workplace.
Common courtesies.
Exactly,
yeah.
Common courtesies. People are saying hopefully please and thank you. But that's not really what we're talking about when we're talking about appreciation. Because
Right.
for the most part, kind of a disingenuous
Sure.
thanks or, just, in passing doesn't really have the same effect on people. What really people are looking for is kind of that, that show of appreciation that shows this is specific to you and
Right.
to why what you've done
Yeah.
or how you've contributed makes a difference here.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what do you think makes recognition meaningful?
It's a good question. I think the first one is it has to be genuine.
Mm-hmm.
I often ask people in trainings, have you ever been appreciated too much? And usually people don't feel overappreciated. Occasionally they'll all get someone like, yes, and I'm like, okay, tell me more about how you're overappreciated. And sure enough, what comes out is that it wasn't genuine appreciation.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of that office space kind of
Like someone told me that I'm supposed to show that I'm more thankful and recognize them, so that's their version of it.
Right, exactly. Or it's a prelude to giving someone more work.
Yeah. Thank you. You're doing such a good job. Here's a whole
some
bunch more.
Yeah, no, exactly. So definitely having it be genuine and heartfelt
Sure. Yeah.
is key. Be specific, right? So again, good job, while I'm sure well-intentioned, doesn't really have the same kind of impact as when you're being specific as to, how somebody has helped. So
Right.
is it strengths-based? Are you really kind of catering your message to what that person does well? So here we have the predictive index, right? And so it makes some of that guesswork easier, kind of as to ascertaining strengths. So for instance, if somebody was really high in that formality drive, really protecting the organization against unnecessary risk, you might want to be specific in your praise of that person. Be like, hey, I really appreciate that you're always looking out for the best interests of the organization.
That's a really good tip. Yeah.
Yeah, so something more tailored to their strengths.
Mm-hmm. And you probably also want it personalized as well.
Right, because we're all different, right? I mean, so some of us might like some to be mentioned at the start of a staff meeting, and some of us would rather crawl under our desk
Right.
than be appreciated in public. And so, like we do here at Cascade, we actually have a form of recognition form where we ask certain questions about how you prefer to be appreciated. So I can know if somebody's like, please don't, I get really embarrassed if you come to me and say something. I'd rather it in writing. I still like the appreciation, but
Right.
kind of specifically tailor it towards that person. That can
Yeah.
go a long way too.
That's actually one of the things that I see sometimes when, sort of recognition programs fail, is that they forget that personalized part of it. And so it's like, maybe they'll have an employee of the month award, and that employee is horrified to be put up there in front of their peers getting this recognition when they would have preferred to have a private conversation or a card or something like that.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. And actually, I've seen some employee of the month kind of awards where people really don't
Right.
want to get it,
Mhm.
but not just for the fact that they don't want their picture up or whatever, but it's not perceived as a good thing. Like
Right.
there's a cultural kind of implication, like,
Right.
oh, you need to be more like Jenna, and
Right.
it's kind of this kind of focus
Yeah.
and attention that's
Mhm.
not appreciated.
Yeah. So what do you think are some good ways to recognize employees then?
Some good ways to recognize employees. I think definitely having it be personalized is nice. One
Right.
way that I think that is a nice touch, since a lot of people struggle with articulating what their strengths are. I mean, I think that in our culture it's kind of seen as boastful
Right.
or immodest.
Or seen as like task oriented.
Right, or very much something that you would have on your resume or something,
Right.
but not necessarily what is in kind of that natural strengths.
Right.
So one thing that I was just recently hearing about, I thought was a great idea, was to solicit from your coworkers or peers just a story where you were at your best, right? So instead of going around, I think we see this a lot, going around saying, oh, what's a strength of Jenna's, right?
Right.
And then you get kind of well-intentioned and really good stuff, but it's usually kind of vague, or
Right.
like, you're so nice.
Yeah.
To instead kind of share a story of Jenna at her best, and from there, once you have like a group of those stories, you can kind of tease out from that what those strengths might be. It's a little bit more meaningful,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
like
a little
that.
bit more like legit than just kind of like, oh, Jenna's kind.
Right, yeah. And then you get some really good stories, again, that you can hopefully then, be able to recognize. I mean, that's a form of recognition just of itself, getting those stories from other people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of times it has a big impact. People are like, I didn't even think that person noticed when I did that.
Right.
There's also an appreciation station, which we do here at Cascade. We have kind of a bulletin board where we kind of leave notes for one another about
Right.
work well done.
Yeah. And what I like about that form of recognition is that it really encourages the peer-to-peer recognition, because I find sometimes recognition it's perceived as it's got to be something formal.
Right.
And there's a lot of pressure on supervisors of like, it's your responsibility to make sure that you're recognized. And then certainly there is an element of
Yeah.
that. But at times some of that peer recognition is even more important
Absolutely.
to employees, and so that form of recognition, it gets the personalization. Anyone can have access to it, and really encourages that peer-to-peer recognition.
Yeah. And one question that often comes up is, well, how do I appreciate somebody? Maybe like, I'm not their direct supervisor. It is inappropriate for me to, give recognition.
Right.
Well, one, probably not.
Right.
And two, feel free to bring it up to that supervisor and say like, hey, they're doing a great job in this, and kind of sharing that good news with them.
Right.
And kind of seeing, you can check in with them, say like, is it all right if I follow up with
Yeah.
them?
Nice.
You're not stepping on anybody's toes, and you're getting that kind of meaningful recognition to the people who, so they're not going to fall into that 65% category of not
Yeah.
receiving any recognition in the past year.
Yeah, for sure. That's something that I see that comes up when I do employee engagement surveys quite frequently, that we know is a key driver for people, is that recognition. I just had a company that I was working with, and they that was something that they was really clear in the first survey that they did, and they made a huge leap just by in that area in a matter of a year, just by giving some meaningful recognition and making sure people had clear goals,
Yeah.
and we're recognizing along the way. So that was a really cool thing, because it does come up a lot in engagement. So there can be other ways too. There's just sort of fun ways to recognize. Like there's a couple of platforms where you can give like virtual high fives to people.
That's right.
It's a good way, because you think about, you have remote employees as well. You might not be around everyone, so you can set up that virtual high five to someone that's not there. And again, it can be peer to peer. So just some fun ways as well.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Yeah. So we want to thank you for joining us for this episode, and I think we're going to file this one under recognition.
Recognition, absolutely perfect in time for Thanksgiving.
All right. Have a great week.
Happy Thanksgiving.